Your Microsoft Access combo boxes don't have to load thousands of records every time a form opens, and that one simple change can make a huge difference in how your database feels. Welcome to another TechHelp video brought to you by AccessLearningZone.com. I'm your instructor, Richard Rost. This is part 2 of my Smart Combo Boxes series. In part 1, we talked about the idea behind Smart Combo Boxes, changing a combo box's row source based on the context, so you're not always loading every customer. We set up the helper routines to show only the current record, active records, or all records, depending on what the user actually needs to do. Today, we're going to finish wiring this all together by hooking that logic into the form events, so it switches automatically between new and existing records, and then we'll add simple buttons to let the users toggle between active customers and all customers on demand. Okay, previously we talked about why combo boxes can make your Microsoft Access forms look slow, feel slow, especially when they're loading thousands of records you don't actually need. We looked at the idea of building smarter combo boxes by changing the row source based on the context, showing only the current record when you're viewing an existing order, showing the active records when you're creating a new one, and keeping the option to load everything only when the user really needs it. Now, in the last class, we set up our helper functions. Let me bring this back into here. There we go. All right, we got our functions to set the combo box for all customers, active customers, or just the current customer. So today, we're going to finish wiring it all together by hooking that logic into the form, automatically switching based on whether you're on a new record or an existing one, and adding the buttons to let the users flip between active and all records on demand. So we've got these written, and we've got nothing in our combo box right now, right? Because we deleted the existing record source, the default one, because there's no sense in loading up the form and then loading 5,000 records in here and then having it switch to just 2. So right now you'll see that guy's empty. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the form current event so that we can decide which one of these to display. All right, a couple ways to get there. I like to just come in here and go form. Now it brings you to the form load event. That's like the default event. I hate that. I can't stand that, but I'm just going to pick current. You can also go in through the form properties, whichever way you want. Then I'm going to delete that empty form load that we don't need. Does it hurt anything by sitting there? No, not really. All right, so what's the logic? Well, the logic is if I'm on a blank new record, right? If me.newRecord, in fact, then what do I want to show? Well, this means I'm adding a new record and I want to give the user the option to be able to pick from a list of customers. I don't need all the customers because new records aren't going to go for inactive customers, right? So just show me the list of active customers. Show active customers. Else, I'm on an existing record, an existing order, so just show the current customer. Show just the customer for that order because we already have the customer ID, right? All right, save it, debug, compile once in a while. Close it, close it. I'm going to close that too. Open her back up, go to orders, and there's me. Beautiful. Right, let's go to James Kirk. Open it up. There you go. Even though he's not active, it still shows his record because the where condition is customer ID based. Okay, now what happens if I got to change this guy? I got to change this order. Well, we're going to make some buttons. So down below here, I can show all customers or active customers, all in case you want to switch it to, let's say this order is a year old. You need to change it. You made a mistake back then. So we got to give the user the ability to select both of those things. All right, so let's make a couple of buttons. I'm going to slide this down. In fact, one thing I like to do with these subforms, I didn't always do this in the initial videos. I like to click arrange, anchoring, and then stretch down and across on subforms like this, because then they can get bigger and smaller if you got a lot of items, right? So we're going to do this. We're going to actually shrink this up a little bit, just like that. And then slide this up. And what that does is, watch. See, we can go, ooh, all right. That's the stretch there. All right. I got a whole separate video on anchoring. Go watch that if you want to learn how that works. All right, so I'm just going to copy this button here. Copy, paste, paste. Slide this over here like this. This will be my all button. And I'm going to double click on that corner. That'll shrink that button up. Maybe make it a little bit smaller. And you can change the font. You can do all kinds of stuff, make it look pretty, right? I put 9. I like to make these buttons with really small text so that I can't read them. All right, let's slide this one over here. And this one's going to be my active, like that. I'll use the format painter from this guy. I always keep the the format painter on my quick launch toolbar in every application because I'm always constantly using it. All right, do the same thing there. Make that a little smaller. Let's give these buttons good names. I'm going to double click, and this will be the all button, and this will be the active button. All right. So now we've already done the hard work, right? We already got those subs written. So I'm going to right click, build event. So in here, what do we got to do? Show all customers. See, now notice when I hit enter, it didn't capitalize, right? I didn't get my Pascal case, my camel case, whatever you want to call it, right? So that's right there. That's my visual cue that I typed it in wrong. Customers, enter. See, there we go. I love that. I really don't like languages where the variable names are case sensitive. I'm so used to this. It's a great visual cue that you didn't type something in right. I used to program in C, C++ all the time, and those are case sensitive languages. So this is different from this, which I think is dumb, but that's just me. In addition to that, let's give the user a little help. We know they're going to want to pick a customer, right? So let's do customer combo.setFocus and customer combo.dropdown. Let's open up the box for them. And yes, I got separate videos on both of those topics. Check them out. And let's do the same thing with the other button, the active button. Right click, build event. I'm just going to copy this stuff and paste it in here. Yeah, I always say I don't like to have a lot of duplicated code, but stuff like this is pretty simple, so I'm not too worried about this. And now we're going to change this to active customers. And sometimes I'll type in characters all in caps like that just to make sure I can see it switch like that. Okay. All right. Save it. Debug, compile once in a while. Let's close it. Close it. Open it. All right. Got James Kirk. Okay. I need to change this. Put the wrong customer in. All right. Is it an active customer? I think so. I'm going to click active. Oh, look at that. It drops down the box and shows me the active customers. Look at that. All right. Or how about all? Oh, there we go. Now notice when I clicked active, James Kirk actually disappeared because he's not in the list, right? What you could actually do to make it so that doesn't confuse your user is add him in as well when they click active. So if there is a customer ID, right? And to do that, we'll just adjust the SQL a little bit. So active customers, where is active equals true, and then we'll just throw in here or customer ID equals customer ID and a space. Don't forget that space. Everybody forgets the space. And now at least this way, if there is an ID, right? If I drop this down, if I go to active, now he's in that list as well. So you're seeing active plus the current user. So that's a nice little enhancement. It's little things like that that really confuse your users. They click the button and they're like, it disappeared. What happened? Oh, okay. All right. That's why. So there we go. All. You can pick somebody or active, right? Pretty cool. I like it. And now your boxes are loading a whole lot faster than they were before. If you were loading all, all 33. Yeah, let's pretend we got 50-some thousand, right? In my database, I think I've hit the 60,000 mark of customers since I've been doing this since 2002. And they're not all active customers, I wish, right? But over the last 20-some years, so I had to do this in my database a while back because I noticed that, pulling across the network, even with SQL Server, it'll run slow if you pull everybody in there. So keep that in mind. And that's just another tip to speed things up. If you want to learn more about speeding up your combo boxes, check out some other videos. I got this one on dynamic filtering. This is one where you'd put in like a last name filter, and it will then filter this guy. You could do this with what I just showed you today, too. For your all or your active search, you can also have a last name filter. Do them together. And as I mentioned earlier, here's that video on setfocus. And I got one on dropdown, those two things we did earlier. And if you search for a particular topic in Microsoft Access and one of my videos doesn't show up on Google or YouTube, I want to know about it. So let me know and I'll make a video. If you like what we did here with the smart combo boxes and controlling what loads and what doesn't, you'll probably really enjoy my Access Developer 37 course. In that class, we go way deeper into advanced list box and combo box techniques, including letting users dynamically choose which fields they want to see at runtime. We work with record sets, multi-select list boxes, table defs, query defs, and we build forms that can adapt to any table or query without hard-coding field lists. It's all about building flexible, high-performance interfaces that are easier to maintain and scale, especially in real-world databases with lots of data. So check it out. I'll put a link down below. So that's going to do it. That's going to be your TechHelp video for today, brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. We looked at how smart combo boxes can dramatically improve both performance and usability by loading only the records you need, switching automatically based on context, and giving users simple controls to see active or all records when necessary. If this helped you, post a comment down below and let me know what you thought of today's video and how you're going to use these techniques in your own databases. So that's all for today. I hope you learned something. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, hit that thumbs up button right now and give me a like. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel, which is completely free, and make sure you click that bell icon and select all to receive notifications whenever I post a new video. Do you need help with your Microsoft Access project? Whether you need a tutor, a consultant, or a developer to build something for you, check out my Access Developer Network. It's a directory I put together personally of Access experts who can help with your project. Visit my website to learn more. Any links or other resources that I mentioned in the video can be found in the description text below the video. Just click on that Show More link right there. YouTube's pretty good about hiding that, but it's there. Just look for it. Now, if you have not yet tried my free Access Level 1 course, check it out now. It covers all the basics of Microsoft Access, including building forms, queries, reports, tables, all that stuff. It's over 4 hours long. You can find it on my website or my YouTube channel. I'll include a link below you can click on. And did I mention it's completely free? And if you like Level 1, Level 2 is just $1. That's it. And it's free for members of my YouTube channel at any level. Speaking of memberships, if you're interested in joining my channel, you get all kinds of awesome perks. Silver members get access to all of my extended cut TechHelp videos, and there's hundreds of them by now. They also get one free beginner class each month, and yes, those are from my full courses. Gold members get the previous perks plus access to download all of the sample databases that I build in my TechHelp videos. Plus, you get access to my code vault where I keep tons of different functions and all kinds of source code that I use. And gold members get one free expert class every month after completing the beginner series. Platinum members get all of the previous perks, plus they get all of my beginner courses, all of them from every subject. And you get one free advanced or developer class every month after finishing the expert series. And you can become a diamond sponsor and have your name listed on the sponsor page on my website. So that's it. Once again, my name is Richard Rost. Thank you for watching this video brought to you by accesslearningzone.com. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something today. Live long and prosper, my friends. I'll see you next time.